Hi, this is the Itiwit X500 inflatable touring kayak from Decathlon. In this review, which is my first ever gear review by the way, so please go easy on me, I'll be asking, how well does it perform? How well does it travel? How easy is it to set up? And for an inflatable, is it really worth the somewhat hefty £700 price tag? Thank you. X500 has arrived. It is an inflatable kayak, so you should probably be careful with this. Okay, and you could just chuck that on your back and go straight down to the water, couldn't you? Right, let's have a look inside. The heavy duty zips here. Got a package with instruction manual, some other paperwork, warranty, got some spare rubber for patches and repairs. Not sure what that is yet. Sure we'll find out. Their foot pegs. I think this is the seat. And a neatly folded kayak. Perhaps my garden isn't the best place to pump it up on the first go. Let's go and find some water. As you can see, it passes the car boot test. This here is a Peugeot 108, and this is about as small as it gets. The pack fits snugly in the boot without having to put down any seats. If it fits here, honestly it'll fit any car. It's quite a big old backpack, much larger than a hiking rucksack, but it's not as heavy as it looks, and it's not uncomfortable to carry. The backpack itself, ingeniously, is oversized, so you can add extra items that you need, such as your pump. I also threw in a bilge pump, my neoprene spray skirt, I can even squeeze in my life jacket. Right, let's put the timer on and see how quickly we can get her set up. After unpacking everything and unfolding the boat, there are 5 chambers to inflate. The procedure is printed onto the boat in case you forget. You inflate the floor, the sides, and 2 chambers on the deck, fore and aft of the cockpit. Recommended pressure is 10 bar, although I have heard that some owners inflate the floor to only 5 bar for extra stability. Everything feels very well made and sturdy, from the push-button spring valves to the material and drop stitching itself. It smells more like a fancy rib than an inflatable kayak. Be careful with those valves, by the way, as when deflating them, air jets out of them at high speed. You don't want that going off in your face. I found out this the hard way. At the back of the boat is a storage locker with a roll-top watertight seal for you to store your pump, empty backpack, and if you're touring, there's moderate room for some camping gear. Be aware this compartment is not sealed from the rest of the boat. There we go, 12 minutes, and that's setting it up for the first time, so we'll probably get quicker than that. As you'd expect from any inflatable craft, it's extremely light and therefore very easy to portage. Getting in is simple and comfortable, though slightly less stable than a rigid kayak. Exiting is equally straightforward. It's a very convenient boat to portage. What I love about this kayak is it really is a true sit-in kayak. Unlike most inflatables which sit on the water, this has big implications for handling, speed, wind resistance, and comfort. Handling and performance. To be honest, I had low expectations when it came to handling, probably due to my own prejudice about inflatables, but I've been really impressed with how well this boat handles and tracks. It feels very close to a rigid sit-in kayak. That was always the aim of the X500's designers, and I think they've succeeded. To be fair though, I'm not exactly the Stig of kayaking, so more experienced paddlers might have a different opinion on its performance. It's not as fast as a rigid, but I could get a pretty decent pace, and it's a pleasant ride. I was also sceptical about comfort, but again, this is as, if not more comfortable than my rigid after long periods in the boat. Viewers of my channel will know I do long distances with overnight camps, and the X500 is what I would consider a proper touring kayak. Nice this summer to finally join us, isn't it? I think it's definitely worth, when you get one of these, practicing, taking it out, setting it up, but more importantly, packing it down, because it was alright setting it up, but putting it back together, I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up sort of like rolling it up, squeezing it in. It's like, you know, when you lose the instructions for a tent and you're trying to stuff everything back. But I think, yeah, I wish I would have practiced how it all puts back together. Now, it's great that it fits in the boot of a car, but the main reason I bought this kayak is so I wouldn't have to even use the car anymore. I want to be able to get the train, paddle long distance, then get another train the other end, so I don't have to worry about parking, retrieval and so on. So can you really conveniently take this on public transport as Decathlon claim? Let's find out, because what does every brand new boat need? A sea trial. So what's my verdict on taking it on public transport cross-country? It's difficult, but doable, and that's enough for adventure. I've got to say, I'm extremely impressed so far with this kayak. Handles really well, it's a lot more stable than I was expecting. You know, I've only capsized once and that was in surf. It was quite easy to get back in on the water. Turns really nicely, as good as my rigid. Bobs over the waves really smoothly. That's technical talk there. This is not the calmest of seas today, and I feel really confident. I feel like I've got full control. It's actually really pleasant. I feel that wind picking up now, but no problem. It's solid as a rock. This kayak has thrown up a lot of surprises so far. You know, I was worried about would I be able to fit the pack into the back of a small car like a Peugeot 108. Absolutely fine. Would I be able to get all of my stuff down to the beach in one go? Yep, no problem. Was the kayak going to be unstable, as I've heard? Not really. Be interesting to see what it's like with the floor slightly deflated, but I haven't had any problems, to be honest. easily locker storage, you know, it's able to put the pump and the bag in the back there, no problem. It's not a sealed compartment, you know, it's not sealed from the cockpit, so if you get flooded in the cockpit, that is gonna go in the back as well, where all your stuff is. So you definitely need dry bags if you're, you know, you're touring and you've got camping gear in the back or anything like that. Everything has to be fully, you know, waterproof. But there's plenty of room in there. It's quite fun playing in the waves. It's a bit tippy, I think because of the V-shaped hull. Proper offshore wind now, see if I can bring it home without capsizing.